What's up guys, I'm Brent from PrecisionLED.com, and here we have a 2017 Ford Mustang we're going to be performing an LED interior light install on. Now the 2017 is part of the 6th generation, so this installation is compatible with all years 2015 plus. Today we'll be installing LEDs on the front map lights, the vanity mirrors, the glove box, the trunk, and the reverse lights. Today, we're gonna be installing a PrecisionLED 5730 style premium LED kit, which come with these 3 interior trim tools you'll see us using throughout the video. We have our serrated knife tool, our pointed wedge tool, and our fork-shaped wedge tool. We're gonna start by installing on the front map light. Now, as you can see, I've already gone ahead and done the install on one side, so we're just going to show you how to install on the opposite side. We're going to be using the tip right here of the serrated knife tool to access the light, and you're just going to want to come in vertically between the lens and the fixture here, just with that tip. And then once you pry the tool inside there, you just want to pry outward and just kind of work your way around the lens here until everything comes loose. There we go. And now we have access to the halogen bulb. Now you can try to remove the halogen bulb just with your bare hands, but it's typically difficult to get to just because of the angle. A trick in order to remove the bulb, more simple, is just to use a small piece of tape. And you want to take the tape and make sort of a U shape like so, and then just go ahead, wrap that right around the bulb like so, and then just with the tail end of the tape right here, you can pull the bulb out. And so here we have our premium 5730 style LED, so we'll just pop that in. Now these LEDs, they are non-polarity specific, so you can pop them in any orientation and they should come on. And now let's just test the bulb to make sure everything's working. So everything looks good. And now let's just pop the lens back on. We're gonna start by inserting the larger tab here first, which is the corresponding hole that's closer to the nose of the vehicle. And then once that tab is installed, you can just apply a little bit of pressure on the other tabs until they click into place. Now we'll be installing LEDs on the vanity mirror. Now as you can see, again, we've already done the install on one side, so we're just going to show you how to install on the opposite side. We're going to be taking the wedge portion of the fork-shaped wedge tool, and we're going to be prying that in between the lens right here, the lens and the fixture. And once you have a little bit of separation, just pry outward until the lens comes loose. And again, as you can see, the LED is already installed on one side, and we're going to be swapping out the opposite side. In order to access the bulbs a little bit easier, we're actually just going to remove this whole fixture here, and you can do so just by unscrewing these 2 bolts here. You can do so just with a Phillips screwdriver, but we're going to be using a power drill. And next, we're just going to be taking the fork portion of the fork-shaped wedge tool again and just pry underneath the fixture here in order to gain some separation from the actual visor and the fixture. And so now that we have access to the lights, we're going to be removing this halogen bulb here, and we're going to do so just with our pointed wedge tool. And so here we have the LED, so we'll just go ahead and install that. Now to test the lights, we're just going to want to press down on this switch right here that's just at the top center of the visor. Now these LEDs, they are polarity specific, so if they don't work the first time around, just remove the LED, flip it 180 degrees, and then reinstall, and it should come on then. And so now we can just reinstall the fixture here. Just go ahead and place that inside of the visor. And next we can just screw in these bolts here. And lastly, we could just pop the lens covers back on. We're gonna wanna line up the two outside tabs first. And once those are in place, we can just apply a little bit of pressure on the front tabs until they snap into place. And the same thing with the opposite side. Line up the two outside tabs and apply a little bit of pressure on the front tabs. And now we'll be installing on the glove box light. Now, in order to gain better access to the bulb here, we're just going to want to press down this clip here to expose this extra compartment here. And we're going to be removing the halogen bulb just with our pointed wedge tool. And so we're just going to line up the pointed wedge tool, place it just right behind the halogen bulb here, and then apply a little bit of pressure while pulling outward, and the bulb should come loose. And here we have our premium 5730 style LED, so we'll just pop that in. Now we're installing on the trunk light. Now there's just one clip that's holding this lens into place, which is right here, and that is on the driver's side of the vehicle. So we're going to be taking our fork-shaped wedge tool. We're going to use the crowbar portion, and we're just going to come at the lens here at an angle. We're just going to pry that clip downward until the whole lens comes loose. And now we have access to the halogen bulb right here. And so now we're just gonna take our pointed wedge tool and we're gonna use the end of it just to pry the halogen bulb outward. We're gonna wanna start just on the end of it where the contact points are, and then just pry downward. And here we have our premium 5730 style LED, so we'll just pop that in. And now we can just pop the lens fixture back in the vehicle. And now we'll be installing on the reverse light. So here we are underneath the vehicle, and what we're going to want to do first is we're just going to want to take this power connector right here. This is the power connector to the reverse bulb, and we're going to grasp it and twist it counterclockwise in order to access the halogen bulb. And as you can see, we now have access to the halogen bulb here. So we'll just remove this with our bare hands. And here we have our LED, so we'll just pop that in. Now before reinstalling everything, let's just test the light to make sure everything's working properly. And so next what we're going to do is we're just going to take the connector here and we're just going to reinsert it back inside of the reverse housing. And once all of the tabs are lined up and everything is seated flush, we can just twist this connector here clockwise until everything locks into place.
And that's the end of the installation. If you have any questions or concerns, please email us at help@precisionled.com, or you can reach us online and submit a support ticket at www.precisionled.com/contact. Now, like we said before, please like or subscribe if you enjoyed the video or enjoyed the process for what we do. It really does help us out when we make the next one, knowing that there's people out there watching the videos. Have a good one.